it's Harley J, and in this video I'm going to be talking about one of the more crackpot theories out there, but is definitely very interesting and does have some proof behind it. The theory states that the events of DR3 are just an anime created by Ryota Mitarai in an attempt to bring hope to the world. Now, let's go on to the reasoning for this. In episode 5 of the Despair arc, we see Ryota working on an anime, with storyboards around his room. However, when we look at these storyboards closely, we see that they're scenes from both the Despair arc and the Future arc. So, what does this mean? Well, Ryota has expressed many times in the Despair arc that he wants to save people with his anime, and use it as a way to spread hope. What I believe is that Ryota wasn't turned to despair during the events of the Despair arc like his classmates were, and instead he worked on this anime to help fight the despair that was spreading across the world. Although this does lead to some inconsistencies. Why would there be drawings and stills from both sides of the anime if he only worked on one? My interpretation of this is that during his time at Hope's Peak, Ryota practiced drawing people he knew, i.e. Chisa, Nagito, Peko and Fuyuhiko, and then later used them as characters in his anime, which would later turn out to be the Future arc that we're seeing today. This would mean that the events of the Future arc and the mutual killing game happening there aren't real, and are made to make people realise how tragic despair is and how easy it is to corrupt people. This is evident in the beginning of the Despair arc when Chisa is watching her own death take place on the big screen. This does take place after the tragedy, as Chisa does mention it, so it must mean that Ryota had been working on it to show her. Another reason as to why I singled out the Future arc for being the anime here is because of the difference in the colour of blood. In every other instalment of the franchise, including Despair arc, the blood is a hot pink colour, but in Future arc, the blood is a realistic and gritty red. The change in colour is something to note and may indicate that one of these sides isn't what's happening in the real world. Which leads me to another argument for this theory: everything but the Future side is animated. A Tumblr user pointed out that the opening to the Despair arc shows the school being coloured in, as if it's a drawing. This would also explain Chisa reacting to her death, as if Ryota managed to survive the events of the Future arc, he would know that Chisa died, and could include that in the Despair arc, as seen in the opening. Though this would mean that every other instalment in the franchise with the pink blood scene in the Despair arc would also be a creation of Ryota, which includes Trigger Happy Havoc, Goodbye to Despair, and Another Episode, etc. This argument would indicate that Ryota may be animating in the name of hope as well, as all of these games ended with hope rising above despair and ultimately carrying on. Personally, I think that the first theory is more believable, as to me there are a lot of holes surrounding these theories, but still, it's very interesting. So, let me know what you think. Is everything that's happening real? Or is it just some creation by our beloved ultimate animator? Leave me a comment and I'll see you next time.